So you want to know how to save your marriage from your kids.
Yeah.
Coming up right now.
Hi, loves.
What's going on, guys? This is Heath.
And I'm Tracy.
And welcome to Joyfully Married After on HeathandTracyTV. We give advice on love, relationships, and marriage here on this channel. So our unique perspective after 26 years of married life and rearing 4 children have given us a great, unique view on life and relationships.
So if you're new here, consider subscribing. You can join us weekly in our conversation.
How to save your marriage from your kids.
We have 4.
4 kids. So the first thing we want to tell you guys is that the relationship between you and your spouse or significant other is the primary relationship. If we're okay, the kids are okay.
Heath says that all the time. Whenever we're going through something and I say, well, what about this or whatever, he said, Tracy, if we're okay, they're okay.
That's right.
And that's something you have to remember whenever you're making decisions.
Absolutely.
To pull this as an example, we moved to North Carolina about 6 years ago from Georgia.
Almost there.
From the ATL, Peachtree City to be exact.
Town.
And it was a difficult decision because we'd always envisioned our lives with our children in the A. But we got job offers in North Carolina. And it was during the recession, so it was really, really difficult to say, why are we staying here and continue to struggle?
Yeah, it's tough.
As opposed to uprooting everybody, everybody, our whole lives, and moving to North Carolina, someplace we'd never really considered moving.
Yeah.
It was difficult because the kids didn't want to move. We had one in middle school. We had one in college, getting ready to go into her second year of college. And the other 2 were in elementary school. So they were all at ages where it was they were very vulnerable in their relationships with schools. Very, very tough. But the bottom line is 6 years later, we're thriving, we're doing well, and they are too.
Yes.
Because we made a decision as a family
Right.
to say, hey, we need to do this as a family. Heath and I made that decision.
Right.
It wasn't about forgetting about the kids. It wasn't about just saying, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
It was about understanding that if we're okay,
Right.
they're okay.
Right, and we pulled them in. We wanted them to be engaged with the understanding and the process and let them know, shed some light on what was happening and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we needed to do what was going to be best for us. And what was best for us was best for the family. And that's the key thing. So whenever you're going through trials and tribulations, you're evaluating things, life moves, doing big things out here, you have to think through your relationship first. Think through that primary relationship, engage with your partner, make sure that you guys are on the same page, and then the kids are going to be okay.
And we're okay? They're okay. The second thing is we always parent we have a specific parenting style. I don't know if anyone has ever heard this term or anything, but the way we think of it is 4 ways. Direct, release, correct, repeat.
Yeah.
So we direct our children, then we release them to do what it is they're going to do. Then we correct them once they make a mistake, because they're going to make a mistake.
Sure.
And then we repeat the process.
Right.
And the reason why we use this technique or strategy or whatever you want to call it is because it takes the pressure off us. It takes the pressure off of our marriage. It takes the stress off of our marriage. We apply this to everyday life. We apply it to everything they do. We apply it to school and grades, their social life, their relationships, any extracurricular activities or sports that they have. And we even apply it to their financial life, which we're teaching our children about, and their eating habits.
Right.
So it's very important to tell your children what to do, what's best for them, give them facts, give them what you did, how you messed up. My kids know a lot about me in my past.
Sure. Yeah, I think what's key there too is, you sort of thinking about it, from a spiritual perspective, right? So God wants the best things for us, but he gives us the ability to choose, right? And so we do the same thing with our children, is that we lay it out, we give them some ideas and information, some strategies to help them be successful, give them that direction, and then release them to go about approaching the issue in the way that they will do it.
Yeah, and when they make that mistake during their own, in their own, when we release them to make that mistake, and they come back, we take that moment to correct them. Well, what do you think you did wrong with that? Well, did you talk to your father about that? What did he say?
Right.
Well, what did your friends say about it? Well, remember, they're the same age as you, so they don't have much experience. So you have to remember things. I say that all the time too. One of my kids.
It's like, are you taking instruction
From a 12-year-old.
Why are you listening to it?
From a 17-year-old.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. It's not good. It's not smart. And they understand it. So when it's so funny, when they do make a mistake, they usually come back and say, you know what, Mom, you were right.
Yeah.
And what that does is that grows them up to be more independent. So it takes the pressure off their marriage.
And sometimes they do it right. Sometimes they don't necessarily make a mistake. You know, as they get older, they've learned to listen in some instances. And
yeah, but they still keep doing the same thing over and over. It's just like, they're kids. What are you going to do? But I don't stress about it. It's
not all the way connected.
It's not. They're still developing. And then our rules of engagement are we make sure we meet up and talk about whatever we're going to have the conversation about first.
Yep.
Even if we can't have the conversation with the child together, and that's William, Addison, Brendan, and Jasmine. If we can't have the conversation with them together, we make sure we have the conversation so we understand we're on the same page.
Yep.
And if we're not on the same page, it's okay.
It happens.
Sometimes it happens, you know? We're not on the same page. I'll say, well, okay,
I
I go ahead, or he'll say, you know what, okay, go ahead. Yeah. And that's the way we handle it within our relationship, because we don't want that to be affected.
Yeah, and that's a great thing too, right? It's sort of these things have a way of working themselves out, and so you know you don't want to get wrapped around the axle on it didn't happen the way I said it, and I wanted it to go this way, and doggone it, they need to. So you know you have to kind of you have to relax in life, right? And so, you know, high blood pressure, work stress, all types of things are coming at you on a daily basis. And so you have to remember to take care of yourself, take care of your relationship, and all these other things are going to flow into the way that they need to go.
So if you have a specific way to handle your kids, if you know this is how we handle the kids, that's one less thing to think about.
Yep.
If you know we direct, release, correct, and we repeat it. We already know. We already know what the next step is. We already know what the first step is.
It'll be fine.
It's going to be fine.
As long as we're fine.
As long as we're fine, they're fine.
So just give you a quick idea of some of the rules and habits that we have around these things that we're talking about today. But you want to expound on that a little bit?
Sure. The first thing we like to do is, like I said, have a short conversation between the two of us so that we know we're on the same page.
Yep.
And then the second thing is Heath will probably have the conversation because I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more of a hothead, and I'm very direct.
No, not hot. Yeah, direct. That's a good.
Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you.
No.
I'm not a hothead. Okay. So I'm very direct, and sometimes it depends on the situation. It might not be a good situation for that.
Yeah.
So Heath usually handles the conversation.
Yeah.
We've been doing this since they were toddlers, I'd say.
Right.
Even from the toddler age, they've been getting lectured. They've had to sit down and listen to daddy. They're so used to it. It's amazing. And they'll sit there. If it's an hour, they will sit there and listen.
Yep.
Because they're used to it. And we started them very young with this. So you direct, you release. Go ahead, let them do it. Let's see what you're going to do now. I already told you what you should do. And then we correct them when they make a mistake, and then we repeat everything again.
Yeah.
So those things will keep the pressure off your marriage.
Right. And do it in love.
Always.
Do it in a loving way.
Even when I yell, I come back later and say, give mommy a hug. Give mommy a hug.
Yeah.
But those are our ways of handling our children, and you don't want them to, in any way, shape, or form, interrupt the flow that you have. And the way you do that is to be very specific about how you handle them.
Guys, remember, stay connected. Stay connected to God, your family, or your spouse or significant other.
Thanks again for watching. And remember to subscribe if you liked anything you saw. Click the bell for future notifications. And then let us know if there's anything you want to talk about, anything else that we haven't talked about that you'd like to talk about. And comment below. We love your comments. We love your comments.
Yeah.
We got this idea from comments.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
HeathandTracyTV.